Peter Pumpkin Eater.
Unique New York. Unique New York.
What's going on, folks? This is Trey Wynn. I got Chase Green and, of course, the beautiful Casa de Kibby, Mr. Curtis Kibben. Nick Kibben coming to you live from Casa de Kibby in Lupton City in Chattanooga. Yet another week of Chat 10 Sports. Folks, whether you love it or not, we're here.
Yep.
We're
back
sticking
at it.
around.
Might have had some malfunctions last week.
After we've waited, it seems like a month since the Titans have played. Of course, we've had a couple ugly Tennessee Vols games, but here we are.
Hey, fun fact, it has been a month since the Titans have played. But anyways.
Anyways, but yeah, we're coming to you live, so do us a favor, tune in. Also, we wanted to make sure, and on the front half of the show, check out chat10sports.com. All three of us are making contributions every single week. We have, yet again, another installation of the overly emotional initial reaction for the Tennessee Vols was up today. Kibby put up a two-tone fantasy kind of spiel about the Titans and their contributions to fantasy or lack thereof. More so on that side. But Chase, take it away, brother.
Well, guys, as always, we want you to tell us how wrong we are, how right we are. Comment and tell us any questions that you got. We want you to be interactive with us. So anything you've got for us, put the comments in. We're making this show fun for you.
Also, if you have tuned in before, or if you haven't, or if you just have friends that enjoy some Tennessee sports, just tell them about us, either virtually or in person. Throw some likes, shares, whatchamacallits, retweets on the Twitter.
On Twitter.
Just get the name out there, guys. The more interaction we get, the better off this show will be. Starting off with some NFL news.
Absolutely, yeah. Sorry, I was actually sharing the show myself, but if you're watching on Facebook, bottom left-hand corner, if you'll do us the favor there, we're coming to you this week with some news. Obviously, Nick Mullins, who was last week an unknown, actually during the 49ers-Raiders game, Twitter actually acknowledged him and verified his Twitter account.
Hey.
Mid-game.
Nice.
He did throw 3 touchdowns, and some media are kind of the overreaction like they usually do. Are now almost calling him the second coming of a once famous Southern Miss quarterback, Brett Favre. Guys, here's my question. Congratulations, you've done it. You had a great game. You beat the Raiders. It is probably one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league.
Definitely.
But how long until we see Nick Mullins out of the league, selling cars, selling insurance? I mean, all respect to the guy, but how long until we see him off the field?
Well, does this wind up being a Matt Flynn type of situation where he has one great game and he has to sign a contract for 3 years, 4 years for a lot of money?
Or Sam Bradford, where he's making millions per game.
Yeah, Sammy B got released this week, so that's tough.
Sam Bradford did.
Yeah.
He made a lot of money off of I don't even know if mediocre is the right word for his career. He got paid, though. I mean, he needs to write a book on that. Maybe not reading defenses, but how to get paid.
How to get paid off a few games a year.
What's funny, because I know this is kind of off topic here, but E.J. Emmanuel, who was previously a first-round pick for the Bills quarterback Nathan Peterman threw yet again pick six, and they've actually, I think the Bills had some type of deal in their concessions that you have a pick six Nick Peterman special on their deal.
Wow.
On their concession stands. But anyways, he tweeted out during the game, E.J. Emmanuel, saying, "How is this guy still in the league? But here I am on the couch."
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily wrong, but at the same time, it's the Bills. It's the Bills.
Yeah.
But anyways, getting back on track here, hitting some other NFL news. We're going to stick with the NFL for a little bit here, but the Rams are officially one game defeated to the Saints. Great game. In case actually, that was one game I did watch yesterday since the Titans are playing tonight. And my goodness, what a shootout.
Awesome. Goodness gracious.
At one point, I just kind of turned it off. The Rams were down, and then 20 minutes later, I turned it back on, and
they were back.
Rams were back right in the game. But I'm telling you, my favorite thing to watch right now, of all players in the league, and especially in that game, you got to see Todd Gurley, but Alvin Kamara is a man possessed. And it's funny because, Bleacher Report put something up on their Instagram saying that, he started at Alabama, went to a community college, ended up on Rocky Top,
Yep.
Third round draft pick, and now he's one of the most exciting players in the game.
Hands down. Yeah.
Not one of the guys that you're going to see on Netflix. I'm thinking
Last Chance U.
Yes, Last Chance U. Those guys. That's kind of the same situation he was in a few years ago.
Yeah.
In a community college, and here he is. I mean, kind of pushing Mark Ingram out, but I mean, Kamara is
like you said, he looks possessed. Like last season, I was like, was he just trying to make a name for himself? But this season, he looks just as hungry, if not more so.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he has the speed down or what it is, but he looks like he's playing checkers or chess or whatever you want to call it. And
he's playing more chess than chess.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a second-year running back, and I mean, go Vols.
Yeah. I mean, it's frustrating to watch him because it's like, Butch, what were you doing?
Yeah.
Even with Jalen Hurd,
really
Jalen Hurd's having a great time at Baylor.
Great receiver.
Yeah. But it's one of those things. I think, for him, he is such a prototypical scat back. He's so good catching the ball, but he has the ability to find his way through the interior offensive line.
Just the best balance in the league. And that was awesome. The best part about yesterday was seeing probably the two best running backs, in my personal opinion, Gurley and Kamara. And then two of the best at the quarterback position. It's awesome to watch. And then, like you said, best game of the week.
Bunch of receivers out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a defense in LA that's
been
amazing, and then you just see what Drew Brees can do to anybody on any given night.
Yeah.
And, great game.
Yeah, one thing, too, Michael Thomas pays homage to Joe Horn, previous from the early 2000s, former receiver for the Saints, had the flip phone of all throwbacks, underneath the pylon on the uprights. But it's so cool to see him. I know he got flagged, and Sean Payton wasn't happy for the first part of that, but they ended up pulling it out, so all good there. Patriots beat the Packers, which, correct me if I'm wrong, and we can have a little agree or disagree right here. Is it even a competition as far as who's the GOAT between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady? I
don't think so. I mean, Rodgers, talent-wise, man, you would love to. Any team would love to have him. But like you said, Tom's got the rings. Tom's got the stats too, and it's just hard to say that. Then Rodgers is better than Tom. It's hard to say.
Well, he has a revolving door of receivers around him too. That he just finds a way to win no matter Gronk goes down.
Yeah.
I mean, they signed Josh Gordon. You think, oh my gosh, and then he was late for a practice, I think, or something this week, so they didn't even play him hardly.
Yeah.
Well, that was the rumor last week. I think Ian Rappaport reported that he had been tardy for something, and Belichick says he wasn't going to start the game, ends up starting the game, and then post-game Belichick was asked the question, so what was the deal? He said, go ask the reporter who reported that information.
Yeah.
Obviously,
he doesn't know. From my camp. Yeah.
It's interesting to see because Belichick's going to Belichick.
Yeah.
But for guys like Ian Rappaport gets enough of a hard time from a lot of people. He's not a Schefter. He's kind of the off-brand Adam Schefter. But anyways, sorry, that's something that came up.
But I don't know. I think Breeze is much more in the GOAT conversation than Rodgers, and I don't think it's necessarily a talent thing.
Just a timing thing to me.
Timing, you have Drew Brees coming in right there at the same time. Blanking on the coach's name.
For who?
For the Saints.
Sean Payton.
Yeah. Payton. Yeah. I wanted to say McVay. I knew that was the Rams guy. Anyways, Payton. I feel like they kind of raised each other, so to speak, in the NFL. And definitely Brady landed lucky with Belichick, who was one of the greatest football minds of all time.
Yeah.
You don't have to like him, but you should respect the man.
Right.
I mean, what he is, like you said, revolving door of just everybody in general.
Yeah.
I mean, Cordell Patterson is leading their team in rushing right now.
Speaking of old Vols that are having new life, I mean, he's been, Vikings, he's been a couple other places as well, but it's amazing to me. I know the Patriots signed, he's got a crazy last name. His name's Obi, and it's safety from the Raiders.
Yeah.
They cut him a few weeks back. Of course, the Patriots are going to sign, and he'll probably become a MVP of the league or something. But I mean, for him, Belichick to have Brady, it's always, we could open up the debate. What do you have in Brady without Belichick and vice versa? Yeah. But the thing about Aaron Rodgers to me is he still has so much time left to play in the game and make his contributions. But. Great, fantastic game. I didn't actually get to watch all of it, but it's something that's always fun to see. Because the thing too, both of them, I think Brady. Well, the Packers Patriots are scheduled to play again in 2022, which Brady could be gone by then. So I think yesterday was the last time for them to actually be on the field together, barring some cloning experiment with Tom Brady.
Well, TB12 could change his life. He could still be in it by then. The healthy wellness vegan diet.
Do it. But move it. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, talking about the division.
Yeah.
Houston wins 6. I talked about it in my article. I knew they had it. I did. I know that team is talented enough to win a lot.
Yeah.
Did Demarius do anything?
Demarius actually did. He did okay.
3 or 4 catches, 60
yards. Yeah, I think it's 4 catches, 60 yards, something like that. But I mean, he learned a brand new offense.
Yeah.
In a week, I think who was it that they lost? Fuller.
For
the year. Obviously, Hopkins is one of the best receivers in the league. But they just look, I don't know, like a totally different team at the beginning of the season. It was just like, who is Jacksonville and who is Houston? And I think Houston is finally starting to show, like, hey, we're gonna have to take that division from them if we want to compete.
Exactly.
Right.
It's gonna be a tough wild card get, I think, with the
crowded.
Yeah,
crowded
AFC, especially just out of the division lead.
Right.
You got some really good teams that are fighting hard for a wild card.
The AFC North, because you've got the Bengals, who are, I think, 5-2. Steelers are up there. The Browns aren't terrible, but then the Ravens. That is where it's concerning to me, because you've got Texans, you've got the Jaguars. I'm trying to think of other. The Broncos are in the race. There's so many teams for a wild card spot where it really makes it. I mean, and Teron Davenport, ESPN reporter for the Titans, joined us 2 weeks ago now. But that was his, one of his points was it's playoffs and it's AFC South champions or bust.
Yeah.
Because you're in or you're out when it comes to that. Like we were saying, the crowded room when it comes to what that wild card scenario really looks like. So we'll see what happens there. By the way, anyone who's just jumped on for us, do us a favor, share the show. We're going through some hot topics of NFL and other things that we'll go through here in just 1 second. But do us a favor, share that show. And as we move through, feel free to interact, share your opinions as we're talking, because we're watching the chat log here as well. So we want to see your opinions. If you think we're good, if you think we're bad, tell us. Have a good time with us. Yeah. But moving on, Houston. We did that. Houston won 6 straight. But Chris Johnson, who is formerly known as the artist, formerly known as CJ2K, has officially, as of today, retired from the NFL. Spent some time in Arizona. Obviously, the Titans. My debate here, and this is a good opportunity for everyone watching as well, as we go head to head. Is Chris Johnson the best running back in Titans history? Little hot take action for you.
I mean, listen, he had an amazing season. He had the best season of any running back, but Eddie George, man. It's our boy.
What you got? You're not going Bishop Sankey?
Well, you win some, you lose some, you miss on some draft picks. Ohio State loved him, but we did not.
Yeah.
So, but Eddie George is my boy. I had that. That's one of my first jerseys I ever bought.
I drafted Bishop Sankey 2nd round in a fantasy football league one year, and that.
Of course you did.
At least you did. Draft him 2nd round in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
It was rough. I've got some stats here. Chris Johnson compared to Eddie George. And obviously, career-wise, I think Eddie's going to have a little bit. Let's see. They played about the same amount of time. But overall yards, career yards, 9,651, 9,651 for Chris Johnson. And career-wise, you got 10,441 for Eddie George.
Close.
Touchdowns, 68 touchdowns for Eddie George, 55. A little bit of a difference there.
Yeah.
But I think for what Chris Johnson and the different types of runner that he and Eddie are, I remember in Lindell White, whatever he was worth, that combination of
for a
smash and dash, man. It's one of the first, I feel like, stables that was super successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had the guy, Chris Johnson, to break a long one every once in a while, but then get inside the 5-yard line, hand it off to Lindell, and let him run over some folks. I mean, that's
right.
That kind of, I think, was one of the first frames, at least, that you see a stable use. And you got a big guy, you got a third down scat guy, But Chris Johnson, not that big of a guy, honestly.
No,
super fast. I don't think anyone's denying that.
4.24 wasn't that his record?
At
the rookie combine.
Oh, man.
Excuse me there, but Chris Johnson, appreciate your service for the Tennessee Titans. Spent some time with the Jets. I looked up there.
I knew you went to the Jets.
Yeah,
but where else? I feel like there was
Arizona was his final,
just those 3?
final place.
And,
He played last year as well.
Yeah, he had some really good games in Arizona.
Yeah.
They had a lot
Johnson
of
went down.
and then they had Ellington go down, and then boom, Chris Johnson steps right in and plays a couple 100-yard games. So.
Yeah.
Because he had 663 rushing yards for the Jets in 1 year, then 814 in 2015, and then 16 and 17 were less than 150 each. So kind of falling out there, but I guess it's good to know the guy can walk away on his own versus sticking around. But yeah, it's just something that we'll see for the Titans. Running back situation right now is a little bit sticky, which we'll get into here in a second. I'm going to move, let's see here. Julio Jones scored his first touchdown of the year, which I felt pretty proud because it's like, hey, Corey Davis had a touchdown before Julio. But are you surprised at how long it took for Julio to finally get a touchdown?
Yes and no. It's one of those things where I was listening to the radio on the way over here, and they're talking about Julio's only had 4 touchdowns in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns.
Yards, but no touchdowns.
He's got so many yards. He's the most prolific athlete in the NFL, probably.
Oh, yeah.
But, I don't know. He's just a for the end zone sometimes.
And I think what defenses have done against Julio in the past, especially recently, is he's not going to beat us. Like, you guys, Coleman in the backfield, maybe Mohamed Sanu, maybe the rookie and Ridley, but he's not going to beat us. And I think they're double, triple teaming them, especially when they get down in the end zone, red zone kind of area. I am surprised it took him this long, but I'm not surprised that he struggled getting a touchdown.
Yeah. Could he still put up monster numbers? This thing he's already had over 900 yards this year. So
I think I think y'all were saying Sanu, Calvin Ridley's there now. I think Steve Sarkisian, if he's still offensive coordinator for them, I think he is. But just the scheme that they're running there, I think it relies so heavily on him being a threat. Other guys, I know Calvin Ridley's had, pretty fantastic rookie year thus far.
Yeah.
For anyone who has him on their fantasy team, congratulations. You've actually won.
Is that his little brother at Georgia?
Yes.
Or cousin? It's his little brother. He
cousin or brother?
I thought it was brother.
Okay. He had a really good game against Kentucky. He looks good. He looks really... It's just kind of sick.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
No, but it's... I love Julio, what he is for the Falcons. Obviously, being in Chattanooga, I keep up with both of them, and just like anybody else in Chattanooga does. But Tom, it's interesting to see Julio. He's kind of getting older now.
Yeah.
It's like, really, what are you going to be known for? Because the 28-3 Super Bowl blunder. So we'll see what he goes down as, or if he can have kind of a resurgence statistically wise. But but moving on to some NCAA, some college football here. Of course, we were talking about earlier Georgia and Calvin Ridley's cousin, brother, whichever one he is. But they took down the Kentucky Wildcats in Lexington to lock down the SEC East. Which for a while there, I was kind of wondering, like, how's this game going to go? Because you never know. Home field advantage can play a little bit of a upper hand of sorts, but it seemed like Georgia finally kind of put some things together. Yeah, man. And you just didn't see a lot of Kentucky that you were hoping for. You hear all the hype about Benny Snell and whatnot. And honestly, I'm a big fan, as we'll talk about later in the Vols preview, but Kentucky linebackers are fantastic. I thought they'd really contain the duo it is in Georgia in the running back position, but did not do that at all. So
it's a tough matchup.
Yeah.
In general, just Georgia.
Yeah.
For as much as they've struggled, and a lot of people have not necessarily counted them out as someone that could beat Alabama, but I think they're going to sneak up on some folks if it's even possible, ranked as high as they are.
They're only getting better, I feel like, for me, but.
Sorry if I'm distracted here. I just our guy Craig Story, Sharp looks to have just pulled his hamstring in warm-ups. Says maybe, I hope not. So checking Twitter on that one and keep us updated for anybody who's watching. I don't know if that's just a curveball. I know I'm looking at it right now from Paul Kuharski and Jim Wyatt on Twitter, saying that inactives tonight, Derek Morgan, and sorry, I'm kind of all over the place here, but Will Compton's out. Justin Fowler, the new fullback.
Just got him.
Then a couple other guys, but we'll kind of stay on track here as far as the outline with some college football news, but then we'll jump into that as we get into our Titans section here.
LSU gets shut out by Bama.
LSU in Death Valley, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a tall task to beat them and shut them out. Was it 29-0?
29-0, yeah.
I seriously think that Bama's having to say, guys, let's just go ahead and slow the roll at the third quarter and hold the reins.
We talked about it. It felt like at the end of the first quarter they called the dogs off against Tennessee. So
yeah,
I mean, as much as I'm sure Nick Saban would love to rub it in everyone in Baton Rouge's face how awesome he is,
right?
There is still a respect there, especially if, you can't hate Coach O.
Right.
No.
He's such a likable guy.
Their defense can hang, but their offense is just horrendous.
Just the amazing pre-games, interviews with him, and
gumbo, I don't know. Yeah, I think he's a national treasure.
I do too. I really do. I think he's awesome, and he's rallied that team in a way that no one thought he would.
Oh yeah.
They deserve every credit that they've gotten, but
I think they're one of those teams like the Vols. I mean, they could be a recruiting class or two away from being really, really good.
But Bama's just that much better.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I think Bama. We'll talk about that later with agree or disagree, but it's something that Bama's just far, far beyond there.
Will Greer,
West Virginia squeaks out a last second pass, literally
dropping it down.
Hits Texas, and it's getting to the point. I can't believe it. We've got 3 games left in the season. For the Vols, it's going to be a nail biter to the very end, it looks like. But for West Virginia to beat Texas, I know that was kind of that mid-ranked, top 25 ranking team, that they're kind of making the definitive push. I thought it was over, and I've got family who are big Mountaineer fans, so I was kind of keeping an eye on that game since the Vols was pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep it out there.
I didn't know SEC had that many extra channels, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one is it? The Ocho?
Yeah.
No, but we're going to have to run through here some MLB news. Congratulations to Freddie Ender and Ciarte Markakis as well. They actually got Golden Glove honors officially this morning. That was kind of my morning routine, checking Twitter. I got to see that. So
I knew they were all up for it. I didn't think they'd all get it.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought Freddie and Ender might get it, but I'm glad Marquez got it. He's got it that never gets enough credit.
Yeah.
His stats don't show how big he is for our team. Mm-hmm. And also, Acuna is top 3 Rookie of the Year finalist. Snitker's top 3 awesome. NL Manager of the Year finalist.
Yeah, I think he deserves a pretty good, at least obviously national media shout out for what he's been able to do.
Maybe first in line at the buffet Golden Crown. Something for the man.
Yeah,
he gets it. He deserves it. But Kershaw got paid. We saw that. Even without a good arsenal of pitches and a terrible
3 year, $93 million.
A really rough postseason career thus far.
Yeah.
I think, kid's great. Yeah. He's lightning in a bottle. It's just...
He gets them there.
Yeah.
It's one of those deals, postseason may not be his best performances, but, man, does he get them there. So.
Yeah.
Right. Well, moving on here, we're going to jump into some Nashville Predators news. Preds currently sit at 10-3. Looking pretty great. I mean, it's something that's nice to see them kind of come out of the gate firing on all cylinders. Mm-hmm. The famous Joe Falan, which has got Ryan Johansson. All the names. PK Subban, Arvidsson as well. Firing on all cylinders, as well as other people contributing to that. I know Ryan Hartman had a couple games ago, had 2 or 3 goals. Looked fantastic. His name escapes me right now, but I'm thinking my brother will probably give me the shout out if he's able to watch right now. But one of the best passes I've seen. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah, you sent it over to me on this.
Oh my goodness! It was a through the leg, behind the back looking kind of thing that got right in front of the net and was able to put it in. But Pekka, big news this week on his birthday again, which they did a couple years ago.
Yep.
Signs a 2-year, $10 million question, which proposes the question for me here. Are the Predators giving Pekka the treatment that the Titans should have given to Steve McNair so he can hang up the skates in Nashville?
Yeah. It's kind of the Kobe deal a little bit, maybe not to the money extent, but
right.
You want to give somebody, you want him to retire as a Pred, so I think they give him that contract, kind of seals that deal.
I know, and it's funny in hockey, there might not be these $100 million contracts, but it's one of those things that that's pretty big money for a 2-year deal,
especially someone his
crazy.
age. Yeah. And someone that has a successor, they're in line.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did the right thing, personally, because I know Pekka, to me, has been the backbone of the Preds for this long, and
Yeah.
we just finally put a team around him. I think it's the right thing to do with a lot of the players that spend their whole, like not their whole careers, but the vast majority of their careers in one place. I feel like there may not be in writing somewhere, but they should pay them and give them all the respect and let them in their career respectfully where they've spent it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Absolutely. A little bit of loyalty goes a long way.
It does.
In
I know
some
in
professional
business,
sports.
it is a business, and I understand that, but
Yeah.
at the same time, that guy could have made a business decision and gone and played somewhere else when the Preds weren't as good. So.
Right. And they had the opportunity. I mean, we've talked about UC Soros, the backup goalie right now. I'm in the camp that I'm ready to move on to UC Soros, but I know Pekka's still got some juice in the tank, and he's
Played well.
Yeah, he's looking great. So, I mean,
Large man, too.
yeah, huge for a hockey player, especially some of these guys. I saw a picture of a guy who plays for Boston, 6'9", and
Chara?
yeah, and a guy for the Predators. I forget his name too. I can see it, but I can't. I don't want to try and say it. But he's like 5'7", 5'8", and this guy's 6'9". I was just like, I'd be scared to death.
And he's on skates.
On
Yeah.
skates, yeah.
He's on skates.
To be facing off against a guy like that, and
What about the Jalen Ramsey signing at the Preds game?
Yeah.
Speaking of loyalty.
I don't know how I feel about it because it's especially for. I mean, you've seen the Titans' offensive line drinking beer out of a catfish mouth, kind of through the gills, I guess, if you chug it through the mouth. But
Yeah.
PK Subban, they kind of swapped jerseys. Pekka gave him his, or PK gave him his, and then Jalen gave him his. And PK put it on. It's like, not really sure how I feel about
Maybe
it.
give it the Vanna White and
Yeah.
thumbs up, but like you put it on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Oh, you know what? I'm cool with you. You can take it home.
I know it's
Don't
all-
put it on.
But I didn't realize that he had gone to Brentwood
Right,
Academy
Brentwood Academy.
there around Nashville. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I had no reason to like the guy. I guess I still don't really.
No,
but,
no.
but I guess it makes more sense of him coming to Nashville for a hockey game. Cause
Yeah,
he
I'm
just
guessing they're off this week. So, probably back home.
They probably need it as well, like the Titans. Get some ducks in a row here. But yeah, hopefully, I wonder if anybody will have the cojones to ask PK Subban, hey, what's up with the lack of loyalty there?
That's one of those you kind of want to know, like the fly on the wall
bro.
in the sports world. Like, is
Yeah.
anybody texting out?
I bet next
Okay.
time Luan sees him in a bar, he gives him a little bit of a stank eye.
Yeah, yeah.
I would not want to see Lawan in the bar.
Yeah, no.
as a,
Or a stank eye.
yeah.
No, or something.
The Lawan stink guy. Anyways, take us away. Let's
Volunteers, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. It was ugly, right?
They say a win is a win.
They
That's true.
say that.
Yeah.
Didn't
It's
feel
a
like
dub.
As I put in the shameless plug in the reaction piece today, as the great Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel's character,
Oh my god.
said, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch
It's
or a mile,
wrong.
winning is winning. So that's the way I'm looking at this game, and I'm sticking to it.
Does that apply to the University of Charlotte or Charlotte University? I'm
Well,
not
I
sure
think
which
so.
one it
I'm
is.
going with it. I want to stay with it. I'm trying to just be like, hey, you know what? We got through it.
Right.
It's over.
I know the two of us, I didn't get a chance to watch the whole game. Obviously, you did. Give us, as far as a reaction, what were if there were good things, obviously there was a special teams play and a couple
Yeah.
passes that looked good, but what were your initial positives?
The defense. Phillips, once again, continues to be an outstanding player. Probably, I don't know if he's in the first team SEC conversation, but he's up there.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to make a second or third team. So seeing that kind of effort they gave, I thought our defense played really well. Charlotte, to give them a little bit of credit, I mean they're not Bryan College, This is a team that they do play in Conference USA, and I think that we have played really well against their run game. LeMay's pretty good running back, held them under 100 yards. Now, granted, we only had 20 rushing yards.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
it was an offensive line thing that they just were flat yet again. I mean, was it something that they just couldn't get it going like the Titans?
A little bit, and I mean that's the thing is we talk about coaching here, and so it's one of those like, is it a coaching thing or is it more of our guys just can't block, man?
Right.
Like it is, or they're missing guys.
And we were talking with one of our coworkers today. They didn't want to block.
No,
Mm-hmm.
They were more content to stand there in their stance and watch someone go hit their players
yeah,
than anyone I've ever seen. You saw Drew Richmond is the guy we kept talking about. He's a 5-star player. He played for Bama. You expect him to come in and be just like a big
Yeah.
leader, a big boost to the offensive line that was so bad last year. Probably the worst one out there.
Yeah, he's
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I saw his ginormous frame out there just doing nothing, just barely even taking up space.
Yeah.
I mean,
as we've talked about before, there's not a lot of room in that line. But these guys are whiffing on people. They're 600 pounds a man, and you're missing it. You know, it's like you're not even hitting anybody.
And the fact that we haven't had that many subs just shows you how thin we are at the offensive line position.
Yeah.
And really, you know, Pruitt alluded to it in our post-game conference a while back. Give him said number of guys that will buy in, and he will show you a team that will compete.
Okay, I'm going to be honest for a second.
Go for it.
This has been quite the ride this whole season. And it's something that I know we've got a few games left, and we'll talk more about the future for the remainder of the season in a little bit. I'm at the point where, as much as I enjoy the ride and the Auburn wins and the things that you don't anticipate, I'm almost ready for this year to be done.
Yeah.
For the sake of Pruitt and to be able to go out and recruit. We currently have a top 15 recruiting class for 19.
Yep.
It's like, can we just endure this and be done with it already and look towards the future? Because it's nice. Okay, we all know Tennessee fans are always, it feels like 98. We obviously haven't heard that this year.
Irrational.
It's been a bit of humble pie for the Tennessee fan base. You know, and it's something for me, like, everyone has been shut up fan base wise. Pruitt's impressed me for the sake of, you know, he's been honest, which we're you know, we talked about. You know, he said we were evenly matched with this team, the 49ers, not the San Francisco 49ers, the Charlotte 49ers. So, I mean, how do you guys feel about his comment saying that what their division, I don't know what.
Conference USA.
Yeah, Conference USA. They're Division I, but an SEC East team that used to be a former powerhouse, now we're level on the same plane or evenly matched with the Conference USA team. I mean, has your confidence in the coaching staff changed at all?
No. As we were talking about, Kurt and I talked a lot today. Was is it a coaching thing or is it just a player thing? Like these are Butch's guys,
right?
Like these are Butch's players, and they just haven't. I don't know. They just haven't lived up to any of the talent. Like you said, 5-star Richmond, 5-star Congo.
Right.
None of these guys ever lived up to it.
Yeah,
and they're just not very good players.
Yeah,
It's like as Pruitt said multiple times. Give me 25 new guys.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy for me, like. Because if I'm a player, it's like, well, are we just shuffle deck? You know, just like let's get through this basically. And it's like, well,
no, but what one of our coworkers also said. Shout out to Steve Hurd. I know he's not watching, but
he doesn't understand technology.
But if you're offended by that statement, then you are who he's talking about.
Yeah,
and there's clearly just a lack of will out of a lot of these players that, you know, the talent was there obviously when they got recruited in. I don't know what happened since. I don't know where we are. I love the Pruitt honesty. Honestly, I mean the brutal honesty is exactly what our fan base needs.
Yeah,
it's exactly what those kids need. And I just love it when people don't sugarcoat it and try to pick something, a silver lining when there was not one from that game. I'm sorry, there was not a silver lining to that game.
Nothing.
And the fact that Pruitt can, you know, go in front of the media and just be flat out, we were not a better team, you know.
Yeah, and here's the reason I ask is you're seeing for Charlotte, they're 5 of 15 on third down. They go 0 for 2 on fourth down, which to me says that this team feels like they can compete with the Vols. We're going to go on fourth down. Don't see it from the Vols once.
Total yards?
Yeah, I mean Charlotte had 244 total yards of offense. We had 192. It's disheartening for the sake of, especially everyone, and I'll put myself on the grill right now. It's the fact that I said 2 weeks ago I thought we could win out.
Yeah.
And of course last week we fumbled the South Carolina game. This week a snoozer, and it's just one of those games. Like, it's like the Titans Miami game. It's like, is this thing over yet? Like, can we just get done? But to me, I don't know. I don't think Pruitt and co are giving up. Or if these players are just, you know, the consistency, the lack of consistency. But to put up, 20 rushing yards?
20.
Against a Conference USA team.
It's mental toughness, man. I'm sorry. I don't care if that is a good Conference USA defense. But you have to have it in your mind that guy across from you is not going to win a single play all night.
Yeah.
And that has to be your mindset. The fact that we did not go in there, and I know that they're not terrible, but the fact that we did not go in there and just manhandle them at homecoming
Yeah.
in Neyland. Smaller crowd for homecoming, mind you. I would have been really pissed if I was one of those 85,000 that showed up. I mean, I would have probably left at halftime. Honestly,
Way to see that.
Well, it's one of the. It's Chase called it the game you take your kids to game.
Yeah,
it is.
That's what it is.
You hope that the Vols come away with a win, so you don't have to explain your fandom on the way home.
Yeah.
Oh man! Well, Jordan Welch comes in here saying UT has a long way to go. Pruitt will get the players in there. There's only 4 players that give it their all: Garantano, Chandler, Trey Smith, and Jawan Jennings. And of course, Trey Smith is out right now. He says, I truly believe in Pruitt. The man is honest, and apparently the man is passionate about football.
Yeah.
I'm honestly impressed for a guy who's come from such like high-end Regal programs to get humbled, like not humbled because he needed it, but just humbled for the sake of this is where we're at and we're rebuilding. I'm so glad, obviously, that he has Fulmer, and he's talked about other coaches that he's kind of turned to and asked for advice and input as well. But I'm sure he's at the point too. Like, let's get on the recruiting trail.
Yeah.
Let's find us the guys. I don't know. Tell me his name again. Our 5-star for the 19 recruiting class, offensive lineman.
I'm blanking.
Too.
I'm gonna have to look it up real quick. But he actually brought another 5-star recruit with him to this game, so he's seeing the potential of this team and what they could be. Oh man, now I'm kind of embarrassed because it's I can see his name, Jawan, not Jawan. Anyways, but it's something that he's trying to in the recruiting effort to get his other teammates there and his other friends that he might know to be able to get them to the
Vols.
To the Vols, to help them out.
Yeah,
and people calling for Pruitt already.
It's crazy.
It's affirmation that everything that we saw in this offseason coaching thing was just not surprising at all.
Not at all.
So, but what about Kentucky though? How confident are we in the Vols competing against Kentucky? I mean, Kentucky had a real bad game. I mean, against a Georgia team that I feel like is finally catching their stride.
Wayne Morris, that's the guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, offensive tackle. Sorry. Kentucky, for me, it's one of those things I have zero confidence after the last 2 weeks. I don't. The confidence that I had from winning Auburn, going out, should have won South Carolina, and it's disheartening for the sake of getting in there, having an ugly win like that, and then all of a sudden here we are, kind of our pulse is zeroed out a little bit. But it's one of those things that for me. I expect Kentucky to come out and punch us directly in the teeth.
Yeah, I think it's a bad matchup for us because of what we've been talking about on our offensive line.
Right.
Against a really good defense, even though they were really bad at tackling on Saturday against a stable of stud running backs in Georgia. I'm not confident either.
No, it's a terrible matchup for us, and I mean they're going to flip. Josh Allen's the best rusher in the SEC right now.
Mm-hmm.
Leads the league in sacks, forced fumbles. It's going to be a terrible day. They're going to put matchups on Richmond and whoever else on our offensive line. And they've got 2 great running backs. Both guys are in top 15 in sacks. And so, I don't know, man.
Benny Snell's a man.
Yeah.
Cash Daniel, national treasure.
Well, here we are, too. Missouri comes out and hangs 38 on Florida.
Yeah.
Wins, and beats them.
Don't sleep on those Missouri Tigers.
It just makes me nervous because it's like, what has happened in the last few weeks that we are where we are right now. My confidence going into the rest of the schedule, I mean, I don't really see a team that we can beat. And 2 weeks ago, I'm like, yeah, hurrah.
Yeah, here we
go. But it's like, I mean, I feel like our confidence is on the down. Missouri's is up. Kentucky's is up. Yeah. Even Vanderbilt. I know Vandy's always kind of it's been a little hit or miss, but
Vandy never has anything to lose.
Right.
Yeah.
And they
get up for us.
Tennessee. It's like the Florida game we talked about. Vandy always plays Florida close for some reason, too. Yeah. It's just one of those games. You got to bring it. It's a cross-state rival.
Right.
Yeah.
Even in the same conference.
For me, I'm hoping and praying, and we're going to wrap up our Vols segment here. It's obviously an ugly win in Charlotte. We're looking forward, and it's something that, honestly, I'm kind of like, let's throw this thing in cruise, end out this year. Let's let Pruitt and company, and hopefully Fulmer can get out there to get some guys in the recruiting trail. So
I think there's still a chance that we win out.
Still like a 12% chance?
I mean, there's a chance.
It's a chance.
You're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, I'm not saying I would even bet $20 on us winning the majority of games, but I'm saying there is a chance the Vols decide we need to go bowling.
But we'll talk a little bit at the end for agree or disagree. That'll be a little hot take action. But guys, we're going to jump in. The two-tone blue is in the Big D, Dallas that is, tonight. We're looking forward to getting out there. Hopefully, I've got my coffee. I'm going to try and stay up and watch the whole thing. Hopefully I can make it. But we're looking at the big topic right now is NFL trade deadline. A lot of teams made moves, some better than others. But Tennessee Titans fans, I know we've talked about it. We're going to get a little hot and heavy here. What are your thoughts? I mean, John Robinson didn't make many trades. I know the record is showing that he did make some calls.
Yeah. And
we'll talk about here in a second too.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry was available apparently. So give me the initial, let's sit back, breathe for a second, and let's talk about how it went.
Well, it sounded like it was one of those markets where everybody knew there's a lot of desperate teams, and they said either give us good picks or good players.
Give me liberty or give me death.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of with JR on this, and it's like don't give up too much for an 8-game rental So Trey, we all three talked about this at lunch a couple of days. It's like, man, we just want something. We want an interior lineman that would help us out in rotation, or find a good deal, because JR's kind of treated us well with some deals. We thought, we'd get a 7th round pick for a 2nd string wide receiver, or a number 2 wide receiver, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, for such a good offseason, what he did, I feel like I agree with the don't overpay. I don't agree with nothing, though. I think that something, just an attempt.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe bring in somebody that no one's even thought at wide receiver, or a pass rusher, something. My initial reaction, if you're asking, was anger, honestly, because I do think we are a star receiver away from competing in the AFC. I don't think that we're anywhere close to Kansas City or New England or any of those guys, but I do think we are a star receiver away from being just as good as Houston. I don't know. It's frustrating, man, because at the end of the day, you want to believe that Corey Davis is the guy, and you want to believe that Mariota is a starter, and there should be no question that he's taking the field every week, but it's just like, which team is going to show up this week?
That's exactly where I'm at. Tonight, I expect them to come back, but in light of the NFL trade deadline, I don't know what's happened in the facility. The attitude. I know the players. There's guys like Kevin Byard and Wesley Woodyard and Lil Juan, and there's so many key factors in the team that I going into the trade deadline, I didn't anticipate something happening, because, and this has been talked about from ESPN, Bleacher Report, Mike Keith talked about it with the Titans. John Robinson is not a guy to overpay. And like we talked about, for a guy like, I would have loved to have seen Golden Tate.
Yeah.
Demaryius Thomas. I know we put in for Demaryius Thomas, but for us to be, there's so many factors. I don't think it's a key factor to say, well, we didn't put any draft picks out there because we're drafting in Nashville next year. We want to have all of our big ticket items. It's like, no, it's just the fact that, like you said, Golden Tate is in a contract year, was getting moved. I still think for a 3rd or 4th round pick, it's pretty high. Yeah. Here we are at the Cowboys tonight. Amari Cooper's playing. It's like, it's the overpaying season. It's one of those times that we're talking about. This is year after year, which obviously John Robinson, I think, knows a lot better than me and us to say, well, what's a guy really worth? What's the injury issues or whatever? The whole story. What is it?
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things that.
And also just Derrick Henry, us not getting what we think he's worth.
Yeah, I would like to know
what is Derrick Henry worth? Yeah. Because I mean, statistically, he's had a pretty bad career this far, and I think there's a lot of factors that go into that.
Yeah,
but I do think that he's worth more than anyone was willing to give us at the trade deadline. I'm glad he didn't go. Honestly,
I think, to me, I know Chris Mortensen, ESPN, like famed reporter and all that. He's the Schefter before the Schefter. I don't know that I honestly believe entirely that he was on the market. it's nice to say, hey, in hindsight, we put him out there to see what was up.
Yeah.
Maybe as a motivator for him, because he's a
Right.
guy we've talked about it many weeks in a row. The dude hits a pile, and his legs stop, he falls over.
Always.
And he's saying, well, I'm not pleased with my performance. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? Your ass
No one
is
else
just
is.
on the block.
Do
you know?
something about it.
So
yeah.
so make something happen, because here's the thing: a lot of teams get out there and say, "Hey Schefter, hey agent, hey ESPN, we've got this guy available."
Yeah.
Prior to the actual event, prior to hey, here's what we're looking at. That's why Demaryius Thomas went. That's why Golden Tate went. They made themselves known, and I think the Titans are more so moving into a place of let's motivate some guys.
Yeah.
Because I know Nick Williams dropped one pass. Gone. And it's one of those things. I think John Robinson, checkers or chess over checkers. It's one of those things. I think he might be playing a little bit of a game there.
Yeah.
Especially before a Monday Night Football game with national exposure, which I know the Titans have a history and a record of saying they're there sometimes or they're not other times. So we'll see what happens tonight. But we're going to move on for our expectations for our game tonight. I'll start us here because I want to see the team come out revitalized.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the offensive line. That's the one group I'm watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always talk about matchups and not necessarily offensive line versus defensive line, but you see two offensive lines that have had some notoriety in the recent past.
For sure.
And I think for any position group, to me, offensive line benefits the most from a bye week.
Oh, yeah.
And our offensive line has been sloppy at best this year. And so I really, like you said, that's what I want to see more than anything is us control the line of scrimmage, hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, give him 20 carries tonight.
Yeah.
I want to see Derrick Henry with 20 carries tonight, and I want to see us with 150 yards rushing tonight as a team.
Oh, man. That just sounds like
a dream.
dinner and dessert? Like you're talking about, come on.
I'm sorry.
No,
I think we should.
Oh, absolutely.
I think we
should.
have the pieces in place to do that against anyone, much less a Dallas defense that who knows what they're made of.
Right.
I mean, they have some names, but
their defense is the number 2 defense, right? Statistically right now, their secondary is one of the better out there. I watched something this weekend or during lunch today or whatever it was. But their secondary, they're known for the cover 2, cover 3 type of look. So there could be some down the middle passes, some slants. It's one of those things that I'm by no means of the camp that's questioning Vrabel, and it's just amazing how people continually go after the wrong people with Pruitt and just coaches. It's Tennessee football fans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Like I was talking to a buddy of mine about Star Wars fans and how they can flip 1 second. They love you the 1 second and they hate you the next. It's the same thing with Vols and Titans fans. They love you when it's great and they hate you when it's bad. So to me, it's one of those things. You have the offensive line. I want to see, and I'm hoping Tajay Sharp. I don't know what the actual report is. I think he's okay. I'm going to pull up Twitter here just to check and see maybe someone's throwing something out there about
so we
it.
got some comments over here.
We had Jordan Welch earlier asking. I know this is off topic, but can we talk about Mariota? Do you think he stays after this year? Which is something we can kind of get to. We can touch base now and get into a little bit of agree or disagree, but it is something that we've talked about. I know we've talked about Henry. We've talked about Mariota as far as them being busts. When it comes to, I want to see him tonight because there's some games, and the Titans do this. Like, when it matters, they step it up.
Yeah.
Chiefs game last year, Jaguars
Jacksonville last year.
Yeah, it's something that it's a different switch is flipped, and I think Mariota has to learn how to live with that switch on.
Yeah. Always, yeah.
Yeah, because I think even I remember whenever he was at Oregon, they're playing Florida State, and it's the start of the Jameis Mariota conversation.
You knew they were going to be 1 and 2.
Mariota did not play, and as much as I despise eating W's, Mariota doesn't have that fire of saying, screw it, I'm taking this game over.
Yeah.
Jameis showed it in college. I'm not saying there's always a comparison, but obviously other players, other quarterbacks, other position groups, there's guys that know how to turn it on. And to me, I think Mariota's the guy who's worth the contract extension of. You got to consider, obviously, everyone knows this, the coaching staffs he's had to endure, the changes in offensive schemes. This year, Delaney's gone, one of his number 1 targets. It's like the dude's been through thick and thin, through injuries. He broke his leg, all that stuff. But it's one of those things. I don't think John Robinson, when this year ends, barring a significant issue,
I think it's much more likely they trade up in the draft to get somebody to compete next year. I don't want Mario to leave.
I'm surprised.
I mean,
I'm genuinely surprised.
I want someone to come in and make him earn it.
Yeah.
You know, and the Titans in the recent history, especially last year, never won games conventionally. It was never pretty. It was never a game that you wanted to watch if you were, if you didn't have a dog in that fight, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think, I spoke in the article about how bad our fantasy-wise, how bad we've been, but
Right.
it's looked like that.
Yeah.
During the games too, and I think a lot of it is a new scheme, and I think we do turn it around. Maybe not to the extent that we make the playoffs, but we make people sweat at least.
Yeah, for sure.
And respect us when they line up.
Yeah,
against us.
we're gonna make it close. I mean, whether it be our scheme or things like that, we'll make it close, and
we always find a way to win.
yeah, some way. Well, but we're gonna have to.
It is a must win tonight.
You think it is a must win?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
if we're still the
we can't
playoffs, they're still playoffs.
Yeah.
The playoffs are still in question. Then absolutely, this is a must win.
Yeah.
It's one of our two Monday Night Football games are both in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
Dallas being the first one, and then later in the year we'll go to the division rival Texans. You guys remember? Side note. Y'all remember the Cortland Finnegan,
Andre Johnson
beef?
Oh yeah.
And that's why when we talk about rivals, I think Texans are right up there because we're both newer.
Yeah.
I know the Texans were previously there, and then they went away. And then we used to be in Houston as Oilers.
Yeah.
I feel like the Texans are right up there with some of our biggest rivals.
For me, definitely. That's always what I've thought. Is, gosh, I hate those guys.
I hate the
I do too. I don't know why.
I hate the Jaguars more than anybody.
Really?
It's just something.
We're like the big brother to them.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
A little bit.
Last year, we've beaten them for God knows how many times in a row, but it's one of those things to me. Just like they keep talking.
Always.
And that's what bugs the crap out of me. It's like,
Yeah.
because you don't hear J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney coming out. Well, we're gonna be there, and we're gonna. It's like, it's just for some reason after 3 in a row, or even over the series. I know when we went to the Super Bowl, we beat them in the AFC Championship. It's like there's obviously a history of us beating them, but for some reason they keep coming back. But
Always.
If Amari Cooper catches a touchdown tonight, do you really think what if? Because I don't.
No.
I'm sorry.
Not
I think
first
Amari
round.
Cooper is a wide receiver 2 at best.
You're saying what if in the sense of
what if we would have gone out and gotten him?
No, I mean
Yeah.
even the price. If the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys. I mean, giving the Raiders have 3 picks now. It's kind of like a wit. Amari's great. He's had some drop issues. We talked about that last week, but it's just something I don't think.
Yeah.
Even if it's Golden Tate for the Eagles, he
Yeah.
pitched 4 touchdowns. It's like, no. I think
Yeah.
Corey Davis is on the same tier as those guys, or better, and then Tajay Sharp's right there on the next tier of groups. It's just the fact that these guys have to get it down.
Yeah, the thing about Golden Tate is it's a perfect little fit for this year's Eagles. Win now,
totally.
win right now.
Right.
Our 3rd round pick is not worth
Right.
this year. So listen, we got a great thing going this year, and I don't know. They might actually have the money to pay him next year if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
Maybe not the supermax contract NBA style, but
I
if
feel
you
like
want to
if,
stay and win, that's the place you stay.
I feel like if the options were better, maybe the win now theory doesn't quite hold up.
Yeah.
If there was a not so aged receiver that we thought could beat out Corey Davis for our number 1 receiver spot, we
Yeah.
wouldn't be talking about the price was too high, because win now or win never. I know you guys got sick of me saying that in our little group chat.
No, it's right though. I mean,
I don't need excuses. I'm sorry, I've heard them all.
but here's my thing: if we beat the Bills and if we beat the Chargers,
If we beat,
I guarantee
Miami.
you, I would have put my paycheck on the fact that John Robinson makes a trade because of the win now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
deal.
definitely. That's the
Ooh,
thing. Is
that hurts even more.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing where I think for fans, it's like do something, make it happen. It's like,
Yeah.
well, look at what we're putting on the field. You
Yeah.
think because the groups
Are
that
we
we're
one
looking
receiver
at.
away? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, the offensive line looks like trash.
Yeah.
Ben Jones and Klein and Spain are not, the hottest commodities out there. Even
No.
if they were, trade stuff, whatever, trade potential, trade capital or whatever. But if we had won those games and we were dominating and kind of pulling away in the AFC South, then for sure I would have seen something
give up
happen.
a third rounder. I mean, honestly, it's one of those because Golden Tate was the only guy that I thought would be worth the 4th, 5th round pick range.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not. Demarius has obviously fallen off, but he's still a contributor, so it'd be nice to have, but for a bargain.
So what's your score tonight?
Tonight, as we were talking about earlier, though, the thing I want to see is, I think our biggest key can. Speaking of Amari Cooper, how much is our secondary up to it all? Did they do anything?
Yeah.
I don't think it's high scoring. I think we come out with a win. I don't know why I feel good, but I feel good.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be a high score, but I'm saying 24-21, we sneak one out in Jerry's world.
I'm going to give I wrote an article for Chat 10 Sports, it's called A Little Titans Perspective, that we've lost 2 games or 3 games by a combined 9-point difference.
Yeah.
The Chargers and the Bills, we won or lost by a point each. It's rough, but for me, I wrote there saying that we're a couple plays away, we're a couple turnovers away, or whatever it is, from making a big jump in our record. In that article, I did write for the next 4 games some predictions. So tonight I have the Titans winning 21-17, 21-20, very close game in Dallas. Of course, Cowboy fans are going to be out in the droves.
It's tough to win in Jerry's world.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, my overall if it's speaking of win now or never, it is now or never to me. So that's my kind of
for this season.
Right.
I feel like this is
and it's a massive disappointment if we don't win this game.
This is an evaluation.
Because this is it, especially off the bye week.
Yeah, I said that I think the direction and coaching give us this win. Jason Garrett seems to be always on the hot seat. I guess I don't know what he's Teflon Don and nothing sticks to him, or Jerry just loves him that much. The defense, has looked good this year, but the Cowboys are they're known for having the names. The Sean Lee, they got the Lawrence kid, they got a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when it matters most, they fold like a cheap lawn chair.
Right.
And Zeke's a killer top 5 running back. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
I still think Hearns is the best receiver on that team.
I forgot he was even there.
And I don't think that Dak. I think that Dak and Mariota are equally unremarkable, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're both good quarterbacks.
You would take Mariota over Dak?
I would probably take Dak over Mariota.
That's where I'm at. Because right now, Mariota's great athlete. He can when he's on, he's on. But I feel like Dak's a better.
I think Dak has that. There's this mentality, that Mamba mentality. Yeah. It's like, give me the ball.
Right.
Give me the game. He seems to have that about him. And maybe it is just Mariota's mannerisms and his soft-spokenness, but sometimes you want to see something. We saw him early in the game get up and kind of, puff his chest out and run a mouth a little bit. And, I want more of that from my quarterback. I'm sorry.
You need that as a leader. He controls the tempo. He controls everything.
And for me, it almost feels like since we haven't played in feels like a month, that Chargers game, we didn't look terrible.
No,
the
not at all.
running game was coming back.
Not at all.
So for me, I have to kind of reset and think, wait, this isn't the Ravens week after. This isn't, we lost, yes, we didn't lose by a bunch. We lost on a last minute 2-point conversion in London. So it's double weird.
Yeah.
Being a 9 a.m. game, whatever it was.
Yeah. No Melvin Gordon. Yeah. Obviously made, I think, a big play in that. But we didn't look bad.
Right.
Yeah. What I'm saying? We didn't. I feel like we lost that game. I feel like the Chargers won. I feel like Phillip Rivers went out and won that.
They won early. Yeah, I thought we played really, really well in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And made that rally, It's like,
that's another thing that kills me.
That's secondary.
God.
Suspect. But we need to actually move on here to, we're going to do agree or disagree for anybody watching with us. Agree or disagree is a segment in which we're going to throw out a hot take and we're going to share our opinions if we agree or disagree, which tonight in our outline we've removed each other's responses so we don't know what we're going to respond with. We don't know what we're all lining up. Little hot take in a hot take, if you would. But agree or disagree, guys, I'm going to start off with a left fielder since it's fall, I recently saw the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. My wife and I saw Stars Born. Some good movies. It's a good time of the year to curl up on the couch. It's cold out.
Yeah.
Watch a movie. So, sports movies. I'm going to say, this is my own personal hot take. Agree or disagree, Remember the Titans is the best sports movie of all time.
Whew. That's tough.
Try me, guys.
Try me.
I mean, that's pretty tough to disagree with. It's not my favorite. I'm going to go with Major League. And I really enjoy the Major League Series 1 and 2. That is, after that we can not talk. But Remember the Titans, as far as like quotable lines, killer cast, that's a tough one to compete with. What do you think? What do you think goes toe to toe?
Oh man, for me, I'm a basketball guy.
Are you a Hoosiers guy?
Hoosiers. But you know what? Oddly enough, Miracle. When I first watched Miracle,
Kurt Russell actor?
Yeah, and I know I'm a basketball guy. I love football, and I'm not the most well-versed hockey guy. But when you watch Miracle for the first time, I got hyped, guys. Yeah. I got up for that, and I wore my American flag tank top for like 4 days straight.
That's my wife. When we first met, we watched at a party that we were at her house. Miracle for 4th of July, just to be America.
Yeah,
over the Russians and the USSR. But yeah, Remember the Titans to me. I mean, it's. I remember being a kid watching it, and on the Disney Channel they had the behind the scenes stuff. But I'm just thinking, there's also like I love The Water Boy. I mean, there's so many good comedy sports movies. But what's that?
Happy Gilmore's one.
Happy Gilmore. Get the ball or go to your home. But yeah, that's.
It's a tough one
for mine. Yeah, for me.
I wish you would have picked something else because I probably could have fought you on anything else. But it's up there with my favorite sports movies.
It's probably the one I've watched the most.
Oh, hands down. I feel like every time we got on a charter bus in high school to go to a long away game, that game was on.
Here you go. I got a little list here from Google. So we got Rocky, Hoosiers.
Oh, Rocky.
Bull Durham.
Bull Durham is phenomenal.
I've actually never seen Bull Durham.
Oh, good
got
stuff.
to, man. It's
Raging
really
Bull, Caddyshack.
Did you count that? Then I go Caddyshack. I
If
don't really see it as a sports movie.
It's sports.
you build it, they will come. Let's not forget the classic and one of the best of all time. I mean, we're talking about Space Jam.
Oh,
yeah. White Man Can't Jump. A little underrated in my opinion.
Ooh, Gavin Jones coming in hot with We Are Marshall. That was a heavy one.
Yeah, that's heavy on
Matthew McConaughey.
Just being Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
He makes a really good football coach.
He does.
I'd play for him.
I mean, I would any day.
All right, jumping back into some Titans here. Agree, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, so we might skip through this. Agree or disagree, Mariota is not worth a contract extension.
Disagree. I would say he's worth a contract extension as long as it's a realistic one, and as long as we trade up for a draft pick, we can get a quarterback that makes him earn that job next year. Because we drafted Luke Falk this year, cut him before the season started, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was one of the final rounds, I think.
Yep. Why did we even go out to get him if we weren't going to try to groom him to be the successor or a competition?
I think we really drafted him as a backup, like just to have around.
He was I mean, the last couple preseason games was terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I disagree, and that was, I know a lot of people are saying that. Mariota gets so much flack.
He does.
Just through, and he's not popping off the screen, like he's not a marketable, especially in our already small market, team. He's not jumping off the screen at anybody. There's a couple games, maybe 4 or 5 games. His first game ever in the NFL against the Bucs, those 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Which, again, we're talking about Nick Mullins at the start of the show. I mean, everyone has a flash in the pan moment at some point, but Mariota hasn't done enough yet to give me some type of
it's not his job.
Monumental contract, but to me, I disagree that he's not worth a contract extension.
Yeah,
so.
he's worth it. We have him next year for sure, correct?
Next year's the 5th-year option.
Yeah.
So I think for sure get that, and then I'm sure John Robinson.
I'm gonna say that he's got to show me something next year for us to give it to him,
or at the end of this year.
He's coming off this bye week. He's got to show me more. And I love Marcus. I was
too, man.
Pumped. I mean, I think he's a different type of leader. I mean, like
he
you
does
said,
the right thing.
We need to show a little bit more emotion. I think that carries over to our team.
But he does the right thing. He's a consummate professional.
He's special.
I mean, special athlete, great dude.
Yeah,
like
you
as
want
far
that. Yeah.
You want that presence in your locker room, and you want that guy running your offense, but
he's got to show him a little
something
bit
that's just not there. I don't know what it is.
And Gavin Kimza makes a good point. Disagree. We have to get him an offensive line, max 3-year extension, just in case he doesn't perform. And this year's excuses. I think it's the reality of the situation. The offensive line's underperforming. The receivers are dropping a ton of balls.
Yeah.
Delaney Walker's not there. I mean, there's so many pieces that are missing, and especially if the defense of the secondary didn't get burnt in the Chargers game.
Did we overlook DeMarco Murray while he was here, though?
I think he's.
Did we undervalue him as what he meant to us?
I think they wanted Derrick Henry to be what DeMarco was last year.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't like he's a one-cut pony kind of guy. That zone scheme is his bread and butter too. But I mean, I wish tonight. I know Justin Fowler's out, so Luke Stocker has to step back into that fullback role, and hopefully he can get outside and let Derrick Henry run. Hopefully the offensive line is, like we've talked about, the first thing that we want to see to improve. But next topic here: agree or disagree. This is my belief. Obviously, we talked about this a little bit, but the Vols will lose the last 3 games of the year and not go bowling.
Once again, I have nothing to back this up with except for just my irrational confidence. But I think we get one of them. I don't think we go bowling.
Who do we beat though?
I think you get the Vandy game because
In Nashville?
Yes,
We need to go to that game.
because I'll be there.
We should.
I'm going.
Okay.
So if you guys want to come check out Nashville, I don't know what kind of state I'll be in, but
Somebody pick him up off the ground.
Probably won't be taking too many notes.
yeah, no,
This is girls' numbers.
yeah. Yeah, just check my phone and just see my grammar on my notes. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I don't think we lose all 3.
No.
I don't think it's out of the question that we still beat a Kentucky or Missouri team that
Yeah.
they're just not impressive. Neither of them are. I know that they have impressive players, and then one of them has an impressive record. But I don't think either of them are unbeatable though. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we won 2 of the last 3.
If you asked me last week, I would say
Absolutely winning all 3. Yeah.
You really jumped off the wagon, didn't you?
but the thing is like I think we're gonna lose out. Like, and I went from we're gonna win out to we're gonna lose out because it's not Pruitt quitting. I think not that anyone's quitting. It's just the lack of consistency. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that, like we were saying, guys are whiffing against a Conference USA team.
Yeah.
I mean, these aren't guys that are like, hey, this 2-star is coming at you. These are 3, 4, 5-star guys who are SEC players who've been through it this year, and it's just one of those things that.
It's like, how did that team hang with Georgia for 3.5?
Give me one of those. Give me something like that against Missouri. If you hang with them, or if you win skinny or by a little bit, then I'll get some confidence back. But for us to go against Charlotte and get shut out the second half, my goodness, it's weak.
But another thing to give us a little confidence against the Missouri team is outside of this game, Matty Mock only has against Florida. He had 3 touchdowns, no picks, but he's only had 1 touchdown in the SEC before that. All his others were outside of conference. So I mean, he's not what everybody lived up and thought he was going to be.
He just passed Peyton this week, so it's still kind of salty about that.
I think if it happens, it's going to be Missouri. I think Vanderbilt's going to get just like you said, Kurt. They've got nothing to lose.
They get up for us.
Missouri is like us, where we're or like the Vols, where they're inconsistent.
Yeah,
you don't know what you're going to get. But I think Kentucky, just for the sake of where they're at right now, especially against. Tennessee historically, I mean, they're coming after us.
Last time they beat us in Neyland was 1984, so they got that against us, and they're looking to try to make a New Year's Bowl. They'd be 10-2. So
and I took one off of here since we're kind of running a little bit over, but the next topic we've got here, going back to the Titans, agree or disagree? John Robinson is no longer trustworthy as the Titans GM.
Disagree. Very much so.
Yeah.
I think John Robinson may be the only thing we did right outside of maybe Matt LaFleur. I don't know what it is that we are doing because I'm not in those meetings.
Yeah.
But I'd be willing to bet, my next paycheck that he is the best guy that we could have gotten.
Yep.
And that he will take us places that no one else could have.
What are your thoughts? You're thinking.
I love John Robinson. I think he is. I mean, if the Titans were to be a religion or have a religion, it'd be John Robinsonism.
Yes.
I mean, he is the Lord and Savior of the Tennessee Titans. I mean, I say that jokingly, but it's one of those things. To work with Mike Mularkey to get us to the playoffs, Mularkey, respect you, but that's all John Robinson.
Yeah.
And we all know this, but last year it's what would have happened had we had a legitimate coach running an up and recent scheme or a recent type of offense or whatever it is. But it's one of those things. I know a lot of fans don't the keyboard warriors of Twitter and of Facebook and getting online and just rattling off the unknown of what they think and what they think they know versus here's a guy who's been with Belichick, been with Buccaneers and their coaching staff and just seeing what he's able to do for the Titans here and now. I mean,
yeah.
It's just like all those coaches that came from Saban's tree.
Right.
If you've been in the Patriots organization in the past 12 years, you've been around something that looks phenomenal, and you know what that looks like.
You know how the process
There's nothing
works.
else you can replicate that, and I think some of the personnel moves he made in the offseason, we can all go on and on about the big contract for Butler.
Malcolm Butler, yeah.
But I think Deion Lewis is good. I think Malcolm Butler is going to be serviceable. He hasn't been good so far. I have nothing to base that off of, but I do think he has it. I think our entire secondary on paper going into the season should be just fine.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on there. Like we said earlier, this week is going to show a lot of what we did in the bye week and kind of what we have to look forward to the rest of the season. So
This is one of those like big picture nights. It's like, hey, we don't come out here and do anything.
Yeah.
It's time to start looking elsewhere.
Right.
We got a lot of different positions. And this is, I think, a reason why is because you don't know yet about this season. I think that's why we kept all of our picks.
Right.
Was who are we going to have to replace ASAP?
Right.
So.
And I think, too, like any relationship, over time you're going to see some ugly sides and some bad choices. I think John Robinson with Kevin Dodd and even, who knows what's to come with Malcolm Butler, but he's not going to be perfect,
No.
Yeah, I think Vrabel's the guy, too. I do, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I love linebackers that become coaches, period.
Yeah.
I just think because that's such a heady position.
Yeah.
Honestly, on the defense, like a middle linebacker is the quarterback.
Yep.
And for somebody that had such sustained success in the NFL, around the Patriots organization, I think we have the right pieces on that side, off the field, so to speak.
And it's funny to me because I feel like Vrabel has made decisions fourth and shorts and going for the 2-point conversion to show the confidence in the players, but the players are left not to dry.
Yeah. A lot of times.
And it's something that I think
It's a mentality.
Guys like Lewan, it's funny because after the whole Kyle Brandt thing with Lewan, and he kind of put the Titans in their place. You got, your for the boys mantra is basically scrubbed from the bottom of the bleachers from some barstool event. All that stuff. Like he put us in our place, and the Titans haven't. I mean, since then
They haven't proved him wrong.
right?
Yeah.
They've talked about respect, and I think a lot of the fans and the fan base are showing a little disrespect towards him. But Gavin Jones comes back in here as far as John Robinson says he disagrees. He went out and got Corey Davis. Just hasn't lived up to the hype. He's making the right moves, but it will take some time. I'm honestly sick of hearing it. It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
And rebuilding. How long are we rebuilding since McNair was under center? Is that how long we've been?
That was the start of the demise.
Yeah.
Floyd Reese, made some choices that really kind of put us in an interesting spot. But last but not least, here our last point for agree or disagree, and this is my 1,000% belief. And this I'm gonna have to make sure we're all on the same page with this. But agree or disagree, Alabama will win every remaining regular season game, every game in the playoff, and the playoff final by 3 touchdowns.
Disagree on that one. I think you're going to wind up with. I personally think it's going to wind up being Clemson. I think there's enough juice there where they'll make it a serviceable game. I do not think anybody else is going to compete within the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I don't think Tua's going to play a fourth quarter up until the playoffs.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I was gonna say because because LSU is the only team on their remaining schedule that is, where LSU was, and now here people have given them stuff, kind of crap and saying they haven't played anybody, which I don't disagree with. But at the same time, I think come playoff time,
Yeah.
I haven't watched enough Clemson to really say, hey, they're clicking like.
Yeah,
I've got to watch them twice. They have the firepower, man. Sunshine and those boys, they can. Sunshine can play.
Speaking of
the Titans, yeah. Dude,
I think it's Michigan.
Really,
that defense is unreal. I mean, it's a hot take, but I think that's the best chance outside of maybe Georgia to beat Alabama the rest of the years. Is a Michigan matchup in the playoffs. And we'll see. Michigan is pretty famous for laying a goose egg, but they took it to Penn State this weekend.
Yeah, that was a statement.
And I like Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I like anybody that's half crazy and doesn't hide it. The guy that's hanging out in trees for recruits and having sleepovers, which is, anyways. But I mean, I've never been a huge Michigan fan for any reason. I don't have any reason to be outside of the fact that I like Harbaugh.
Yeah.
But that defense, man, is something to watch.
Well, I'm looking at their schedule right now. They held Michigan State to 7 points, held Penn State, which whatever happened to Penn State, to 7 points. They play Ohio State the last game of the year, which could propel Ohio State right back in the mix. West Virginia, I'm kind of rooting for those guys. Obviously, I've got family ties that love the Mountaineers, but I would love to see, I think Will Greer's been through the thick of it. He's put himself in the thick of it at some times, but I think he has the ability to be an NFL guy and be a good prospect. But I think with Sills and, we got a couple good other receivers as well. Michigan, I think Harbaugh's still, in my opinion, a little overrated.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that between Clemson, I agree with the point. I think Bama's is still that good.
Yeah, I do too.
I still think
I don't think anybody's beating them.
I think they're capable of beating anyone in the nation by 3 touchdowns on any
100%.
given day because, as we've talked about several times, it feels like they pump the brakes once they get up on
100%.
people.
Right.
Like it felt like it for sure against Tennessee after the first quarter being up 28-0, but it even felt like against LSU. And a team that was supposed to be the only hope that we had to beat Alabama.
I mean, you're looking at LSU defense that had 4 guys in their secondary that might go in the first and second round. 2 of them for sure in the first round.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys can freaking play. And they caused havoc. They got to his first interception.
Yeah.
Right.
But, man, that offense is horrendous.
I just think, I think Pruitt talked about it. They have a hard time not scoring 100 points.
Yeah.
I genuinely think, like we said, they pull their reins back, and they have to stop themselves from dominating teams. I don't think Clemson can do it. I don't think Michigan can handle them. It's just one of those things to me that I think they could beat the Raiders right now. They could beat the 49ers right now.
I always I hate the argument, could a college team beat an NFL team? But could this team beat the Bills or the Raiders? I don't know. Of course, any expert will tell you absolutely not. But
if I was betting, my money's on Bama. Wow, for sure. I'm not even joking. I think they're. I mean, for Tennessee, I think they could have beat them by 150 points.
Oh yeah.
The old Georgia Tech game that was 222. I think Bama. It's how could they score that many points? Watch Bama play for a quarter.
Yeah,
and you can see how.
Yeah.
But this week, guys, is coming to a wrap. Week number 11. I can't believe we're already here.
It's been fun, man.
About to hit some holidays as well. Hope everyone's got good Thanksgiving and Christmas plans. We might have some faces moving from one week to the next, but stick with us. We will make sure and obviously give you the heads up prior to that. But for this week, this week is in the books. But before we go, give us a follow, like, and share on our Facebook page. Find us on Instagram, Twitter, but also find our website, chat10sports.com. Enjoy our blogs and share them with your friends. We're about to see the Tennessee Titans play the Cowboys. Hope to God they can actually show up and do it. Come on, baby.
Guys. Need this.
But everybody tighten up, say your tighten up prayers, and we'll see you on the other side. Have a great week.